Welcome. This module is designed to provide you an introduction into workplace health and safety law and the responsibilities of your employer and those of yourself when working at sea. Working on a boat in the Australian commercial fishing and aquaculture industry can be an enjoyable and rewarding experience. However, this industry is also one of the most dangerous in the country, with a fatality rate almost 25 times higher than the mining industry. Sadly, each year 5 individuals do not return home from the sea, while an unknown number are injured, maimed, or permanently incapacitated. Equally sad, many of these fatalities and injuries could have been prevented by the application of adequate safety precautions and controls. Australian workplace health and safety law has been developed to reduce the number of fatalities and injuries in the workplace. This law applies to the commercial fishing and aquaculture industry because all boats used in this industry are considered a workplace. In addition, duly introduced industrial manslaughter laws in each Australian state and territory means that an employer can be subject to a substantial fine if an employee is injured in the workplace, or even jail time if the employee dies as a result of their injuries. Workplace health and safety law is based on duty of care principles between an employer and an employee. Your employer is likely to be the boat owner or skipper, while you and other crew are the employees. Both the employer and employees have responsibilities to maintain a safe workplace. Let's first look at the responsibilities of the employer, that is, the boat owner or skipper. The boat owner or skipper is required to take all reasonable steps to ensure your health and safety and that of other crew while at work. This includes the provision and maintenance of a boat that meets statutory requirements, particularly those related to boat design and equipment including safety equipment. It includes the provision and maintenance of a safe work environment and living quarters. It includes the safe use, storage, and handling of all machinery, structures, and substances, such as fuel, water, food, ice, and catch. It includes the provision of any information, training, instruction, and supervision necessary to protect you and other crew from risk to health and safety. Finally, it includes provisions for monitoring the health and safety of you and other crew in the work environment to prevent illness or injury. Now, let's look at your responsibilities and that of other crew. While at work you and other crew are required to take reasonable care for personal health and safety. Take reasonable care not to affect the health and safety of others. Comply, so far as is reasonable, with any instruction given by the boat owner or skipper. Cooperate with any reasonable policy or procedure of the boat owner or skipper relating to health or safety at the workplace. In short, this means you must proactively take care for your own health and safety and not affect that of anyone else on the boat. It also means that in some situations not doing something, for example, complying with an instruction by the skipper, which then affects the health and safety of others, is not an appropriate behavior. Finally, a copy of the workplace health and safety legislation applicable to your workplace should be available on board the boat for you to read. A safety management system, otherwise known as the SMS, must also be on board the boat. You must read this document because it describes boat safety policies and procedures that are specific to your boat. This document is required to comply with the Marine Safety National Law Act for domestic commercial vessels. The requirements of this act are administered by the Australian Maritime Safety Authority, or AMSAR for short. The objective of the SMS is to prevent injury or worse to you or other crew, prevent lost fishing time associated with tending injured crew or damage to the boat, and to prevent damage to the environment. The SMS will be specific to each boat, highlighting identified potential emergency scenarios, including potential risks that could result in injury or death. This is accompanied by detailed actions that must be carried out in response to each emergency and risk. In short, the SMS is a document designed to help everyone on board, it helping to identify, plan, and respond to a range of identified risks to you, other crew, and the boat. An important component of the SMS is a requirement for crew safety induction, particularly new crew to the boat. The induction should be conducted before the boat leaves the wharf, with a training session to ensure crew are aware of safety procedures, safe work practices, and safe operation of emergency equipment. This will include training in emergency preparedness, including location and use of fire extinguishers and other life-saving equipment such as flares, life jackets, and life raft. Other emergency drills includes man overboard, abandon ship, and collision and grounding. New crew members must participate fully in the induction, and when satisfied with their competency and understanding, the skipper will sign off on their participation. Crew members are also required to sign an acknowledgement of their participation in the induction, and by doing so, confirm their agreement to operate according to marine safety regulations and the safety policies and practices of the boat. Excellent. Now to review information that was covered.